Dearest beloved divine friends and family, another in the series of In the Raw. RKs Guyana Free Media by yours truly, me, Haji, Dr. Ocean Khan, in what has now become like a national, international bestseller in commentaries. Most of it is not from my opinion. I might make a commentary in between, but I barely read, and some people are so terrified of my voice in what is now the opposition. I cannot understand why they are so scared of this poor guy's voice. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just an ordinary guy. You know, why are they so scared of me? I can understand. And why is it that Mr. Harmon and those 5 guys who tried to deflect their travesties of bulk of stupidities that he committed in the east coast of the or what is called the west coast Babies, protests, mayhem, beatings, lootings, murders, rapes, burnings, choppings, theft of paddy, theft of personal item, just beating, lashing, and murdering several people, chopping people, affecting their lifestyle and their home, and creating psychological fear and hate on them and their party as well. But why are they afraid of me, that they can't even come and accept a simple challenge? If my words were bad words that I was calling for people to simply protect and care themselves with pieces of sticks and baton, no sharp instrument, no guns, no weapons. After I was being called, I decided to send something out to advise people not to do anything stupid to prevent a civil strife and a civil war in this country, which is what some people wanted. That is why it is believed by many intellectuals that those 2 boys were murdered in the manner they did and planted at the land of a particular person of a particular ethnicity. And they put out their mentors, particular Mr. Harmon mentors, who are Sherrod Duncan and Christopher Jones, to start to rile people up and giving them smart, clandestine ideas, where they're from, what kind of people live in the area, and so on. And then smartly, well, you know, we do this, and you know, well, we do that. And smartly trying to cover it up so that they might not legalistically be charged for treason. But I think a smart government can use modern technology, which includes wireless tracking systems and devices, microwave and so on, to pick conversations and information to tie up a possible treason charge against individuals who have been involved in skullduggery of trying to disaffect and encouraging their people to steal, hurt, murder smartly. The response was right, one of them said. And they came up with something to try to target me so they could deflect. They are like deflecting specialists, my beloved divine friends and family, deflecting specialists. Not intelligence specialists, specialists in skullduggery and manipulation, and what is obviously coming out now with kickbacks and gifts, specialists in thievery and manipulation. I have Freddie Kissoon in front of me, ladies and gentlemen. Kaieteur News, today the 27th, Sunday, 2020. Corruption and political plagiarism led to the defeat of the APNU AFC. You may recall I wrote a letter, an open letter to the APNU AFC telling them why they lost the election. Incidentally, it was a hit. It went around the world, it went viral, and then it went, people were crazy about it again. All 3 newspapers published it the same day. So I touched an important aspect there for those quality newspapers in Guyana. Thank God Chronicle has returned to the professionalism they are expected to show as the people's papers. So has Fabric News and Kaieteur News and Guyana Times. Now to the article by Freddie Kissoon. I keep encouraging Freddie Kissoon, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who could reach him, tell him, because I already don't have a Facebook, maybe it's true, I wish you all could just tell him that he need to collect these articles and publish them in manuals. Try to get sponsors or contract it out to some persons who will do it and give him a percentage and print it and sell it. And some he might want to give away to educational institution. Knowing him as I do, Freddie Kissoon is not too much a man, a businessman, craving money, nor even good name. He has a purpose defined by the Creator. I believe in God, he doesn't. But in which the Creator gave him a certain power of fearlessness and ability to assess and to analyze as a politician and as a possible historian. I think he is one of the finest Guyanese heroes, and I hope the government of Guyana will award him a National Hero Award and compensate his wife for what was done to her. I mentioned that many times before, and I know government people listen to my missives and look at RKs Guyana Free Media in the raw. And this is RKs Guyana Free Media in the raw, and I'm your host, your friend, your brother, Haji, Dr. Roshan Khan. Corruption and political plagiarism led to the defeat of the APNU AFC. In my August 23rd column, I indicated that over the coming weeks and months, I will analyze the March 2020 election defeat of the APNU AFC since the declaration. I have done 2 articles on the subject, Thursday, September 3rd, and Friday, September 4th. Here now is another installment. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we need to keep these articles, whether it's software, soft copy, or hard copy. We might need them into the future. Any child who is into reading novels will find by the time she reaches 18, they will know the saying, there is no secret in a small town. All the bad and terrible secrets of the powerful elites in Guyana permeate a very limited space. Georgetown and places in Region 4 that are near to Georgetown, even if there are dirty minds at work in other regions, Georgetowners will know about them because these people will do their thing in Georgetown too. In the APNU AFC mansion, the powerhouse had a person whose intoxicating abandonments took place in full view of countless people in Georgetown. The guy drove a 30 million vehicle and frolicked day and night. He spent enormous amount daily on sporting with friends, and he was not employed in any kind of work, which means I think he was getting subsidies for clandestine, evil, wicked work, maybe telling wrong, giving false news and so on. And some politicians like these kinds of guys. Back to the article. Where did the money come from, Freddie asks. The young man was procuring a document that was not easy to get. It was and is a document that people with money would pay enormous amounts for. His father was the key in the transaction. The fellow paraded himself at every major nightclub or drinking den, so people would see, so many would ask questions, so many would know that what he was doing. Interestingly, this bigwig son will bring along the friends of his friends, thus expanding his circle, thus exposing his secrets. Lots of money to spend, ladies and gentlemen. These kinds of depravities and degenerate exhibitions cannot be hidden in a small town. Freddie Kissoon says this was one of the crucial factors in the defeat of the APNU AFC. The particular powerhouse will never be true to his supporters who voted for APNU AFC because he will never admit that it was the plagiaristic behavioral traits of the APNU AFC that were reminiscent in the PPP days in power that citizens resented. When people saw this fellow selling a certain piece of paper that citizens cannot easily get when they seek it from the government, they were overtaken by anger. They asked with moving emotions if that was what they voted for. They asked themselves why they voted out the PPP in the first place. Read what then Minister of Citizenship Winston Felix had to say about the printing of birth certificates Felix's explanation is mountainous testimony that the APNU AFC had no intention of presenting Guyana with an alternative and superior system of governance. Felix informed Guyanese that the sole sourcing of the printing of birth certificates was a policy of PPP government that the APNU and AFC inherited. So, friends and families, the joke here is that if they see something was wrong and they think it was not right, why did they utilize it? Why did it not change it? And there's where he's referring to Freddie Kissoon plagiarism led to their defeat. That was the important reasons why voters chose APNU AFC over the PPP in May 2015, according to Freddie Kissoon. But later on, ladies and gentlemen, everybody regretted very quickly that they ever changed to PPPC, even though the PPPC needed to be taught a little bit of a lesson, and they have. And look at the power and the beauty that they're coming out with now to please all the people and to serve all the peoples of this country in joy and in love, whether they supported the PPPC or not. This is what I expected of President Irfan Ali and VP Dr. Jack Dave and Prime Minister Mark Phillips and all the cabinet and everyone else to serve with dignity and love, having learned a bitter lesson. And which, if they do it right, the APNU will never ever be able to see power in our lifetimes, maybe even in 100 or 200 years ever, once Guyana is properly managed, where all the peoples will feel joyful and happy. Back to the article. Kaieteur News became a phenomenal sensation with oceanic scoops it published about contract incestuousness under the PPP, Freddie Kissoon says. He says again, each day there was a story about a contractor who got this or that and the legal channels were not followed. Guyanese wanted a government that would do things better and cleaner than the previous government. It got a worse administration under the APNU AFC. That is why I'm telling you, people regretted very quickly that they had voted the PPPC out, even though the PPPC had needed a little bit of knowledge and wisdom as to what it's like to be out there in the fire and the heat without the power. And look at the beauty that the PPPC is serving all peoples with. Every household to get $25,000, despite we are a poor country. Most households, ladies and gentlemen, have been giving hampers and love and care and good words and promises to bring down the cost of living and make life better by His Excellency President Dr. Irfan Ali. They really have learned, and they mean to serve all the peoples of this country, whether you support them or not, from what my readings are and what I'm assessing taking place. Back to the article. From time to time, Granger unilaterally appointed a GCOM chairman, and the AFC supported that undemocratic direction. Immediately, the AFC died, and the forthcoming 2020 elections was lost. You see, the AFC was not really interested in Guyana. They were not really interested in their peoples, the bulk of the people being sugar workers. They were not interested in anything other than their own taste buds and their heart for more and more power for themselves. And with that, always voting and kowtowing to the APNU, not standing up a bit to show that they had some bees. They fell in the hearts of the people. Precisely why he said immediately the AFC died and the forthcoming 2020 election was lost. Freddie Kissoon analyzed that, you know. He said that long before the election, that the elections was lost. See my column of October 21st, entitled GCOM Imbroglio, the AFC is dead. Yeah, simply because they were kowtowing and toe-sucking so they could get some good drinks and some food and some appointment and some position for which they couldn't even win a seat anymore. Imagine they're getting 9 seats free from the APNU. The APNU got to be extremely good people, and I mean that from my heart. to give them 9 free seats because they're hoping that they will be able to bring some votes. The AFC, Mr. Granger, leaders of the APNU will not bring a third of 1 seat even, ever. They are finished. That's my word. Guyanese who had no interest in what went on at UG knew that money was being wasted there that had no comparison with any period of the PPPC rule from 1992 to 2015. So even with UG, money was being wasted. And if the PPPC was accused of wasting any kind of money at UG, they made the PPPC look like children, according to Freddie Kissoon. Guyanese knew that no PPP president would have allowed such extraordinary and extravagant spending at UG that a poor country like Guyana could not have afforded. These uncaring expressions of a government that voters had so much expectations of caused consternations, frustrations, and unmitigated anger, says Freddie Kissoon. When the March election came, the end would come, and it did. Freddie Kissoon predicted, ladies and gentlemen. So you guys politically, listen to this guy. He's like a wizard in politics. I have 2 friends, a man and wife, who live right next door to the AFC head office. I would visit Raymond and Dawn Poussard with my dog and other mutual friends each night. As we limed AFC second-tier leaders on their way to the AFC's office would stop by and talk. I would tell Leonard Craig, Trevor Williams, Michael Carrington, Marlon Williams, Odwin Rutherford, and others that they will lose the election because the people have turned their backs on the APNU AFC out of uncontrollable chagrin, disgust, pain, torture, chagrin. Of uncontrollable chagrin. Many of them would argue with me, and now the rest is history. Ladies and gentlemen, see what I'm talking about, this guy? Listen to Freddie Kissoon. The man is good. Rarely 1 or 2 times I saw his predictions fall apart. But the man knows politics. And I think this man is, whether he writes good about the government at times or negative, needs to be awarded a national award for as a political analyst, a historian, and a true patriot of Guyana. Your friend, your brother, me, Haji, Dr. Roshan Khan, in the raw. RKs Guyana Free Media saying thank you and farewell, friends, and thank you for tuning in and sharing your time with me, with us.